Hello everyone, and welcome to a game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from ViceAdmiralMorgen, and he is in the Cossack 8 British premium destroyer. He's on a map hotspot in a standard battle. And while this battle has been going for about 4.5 minutes, the friendly team has already lost 2 ships, but nothing really too exciting has happened so far. One friendly destroyer overcommitted on the left flank, got spotted by a carrier and hunted down by a Z-39. And, well, the friendlies also lost a cruiser, I think here in the center. Now, ViceAdmiralMorgen here, he has been spotting, like, this kind of area with the islands. So far, he has found a Kagero and gotten a little bit of damage in. The friendly team has a Shiratsuyu here on the right flank, who is spotting any incoming ships there. There are some planes here, so when there is a carrier, you always have to be very careful in your destroyer. If you get too far away from your team and your own carrier isn't protecting you, you can be pretty screwed pretty fast. Now the friendly team no longer has a carrier on the left side. They do have, they no longer have a destroyer on the left side, I mean, but they have a Galicianaire charging Igniter now in the Z-39. Let's hope he can at least take down the destroyer. Meanwhile, the enemy Kagero here has been sorta caught here. The friendly carrier is sending planes to keep the Kagero spotted. And it looks like the Kagero might beach herself in a desperate attempt to get out of here. But if that Kagero doesn't have smoke ready, he's pretty doomed. Unless the carrier just decides to not spot any longer. But so far it's looking good. Now there aren't too many ships with shots at the Kagero. It looks like we're getting some shots here from the left, probably a Baltimore. But the Kagero is slowly being whittled down. The planes stay there to just keep the spotting up. So very good play from the carrier to not let this Kagero escape. And yeah, there's nothing the Kagero can. Well, I mean, if he hadn't beached himself, maybe he could have escaped somehow.
Enemy destroyer sunk.
Well, I mean, I guess if he had smoke, he could have escaped. I don't think that Baltimore is close enough to do some radar shenanigans. So anyway, that's one destroyer here taken care of. Meanwhile, not looking overly good for the friendly team. They are 2 ships behind still. The right flank here is, well, just our Cossack and an Atlanta. And again, the enemy team doesn't have many ships here either. Basically, both teams are still mostly in their spawn, because it's a standard battle and there is absolutely no incentive to actually do anything in standard battle, which makes them usually pretty boring.
I need support.
Well, the Atlanta is calling for support, and well, he has our Cossack here. There might be a Bismarck coming this way. We shall see. Now, unfortunately, also with how spread out the friendly team is, there isn't much overlapping anti-air to stop the enemy carrier, but the friendly carrier is here to hopefully, well, intercept enemy planes. Now, the Cossack doesn't have too many torpedoes, but maybe he can get something going against this King George. Now he is spreading them out a little bit. I probably would have spread the torpedoes a little bit more. I'd expect this this George to maneuver a bit. And hey, the Akatsuki is spotted. And that's not a good thing for the Akatsuki. He's probably getting raided by an Atlanta.
We destroyed their destroyer.
And that takes care of that. So it looks like the George is now all alone. And that was a huge hit right there. So ViceAdmiralMorgen is deploying some smoke to not get devastated here, and now he'll just try to farm this George with his guns. The torpedoes unfortunately missed. Also, his one and only torpedo launcher has been permanently destroyed, which is not good, let's put it like that. So I guess he's now a pure gunboat. Now I'd say the strength of the Cossack is providing some spotting for the friendly team and hunting down destroyers. Not like there is any enemy destroyer left though, so now he is reduced to gunboat against...
Engine boost activated.
Well, against big enemy ships, I suppose. Now the George is still burning. He could take some additional shots here, but I don't think it's worth it as long as there is still a fire going. The carrier is coming in for a strike potentially as well. And he decides to shoot some more, I guess. The George's guns are currently not pointing this way because the George is turning and the George doesn't have the best turret traverse, so I guess there is a nice opportunity to get some shots in. Also, his smoke is ready again. So if the George takes an interest in him, if those guns turn his way, he can always just disappear from sight. Meanwhile, the friendly team has turned this course around a bit. So it's looking pretty decent, and now the guns are coming this way again. He's got another fire. He could just go for a smoke here in order to prevent taking any more damage. Then again, I'm not sure if the George is spotted by anyone else. Well, I guess probably the Bismarck if the George is shooting. And he's slowing down here. Is he deploying a smoke? I mean, he has more than enough charges left. I would have gone for safety here and definitely deployed a smoke myself. He is on low health. And I mean, the George is shooting high explosive, and high explosive does an awful lot of damage. There is no way to bounce it. So he is he's playing with fire here. I definitely would have gone for the smoke screen. Then again, yeah, I still think the Bismarck would spot him. It's hard to tell. I mean, if that smoke screen is between the George and the Bismarck and the George stops shooting, then the George could just disappear from sight. So I guess he doesn't wanna risk the George escaping, and he's confident in his powers of evasion, and so far his powers haven't failed him. So well done. Got an arsonist there and took care of one enemy. Now we have a friendly Mogami pushing in pretty aggressively. This Mogami is most likely doomed. We have the Atlanta still around, who can hopefully use this island as a cover because it's an Atlanta, and the Atlanta in the open spotted is usually sinking pretty quickly. Now the Bismarck, I mean, it's a standard battle, so the Bismarck probably saw no reason to ever move out from the cap, although he would be a pretty great brawler. Let's take a look. Bismarck, well, he's taken quite a bit of damage so far. He might also be afraid of a carrier. Mogami is still holding on, interestingly enough. I would have expected him to go down by now. I'd also expect him to be heavily... And there he goes. Now, also in a plot twist, the enemy carrier is charging in, and the Atlanta obviously got spotted and got taken out there. Poor Atlanta. Now, I assume the enemy carrier is out of planes, because why else would he do that? And again, even if he is out of planes, considering how close this match is. Now, carrier charging in, I can't really... Well, I mean, I think if the battle is over anyway, charging in as a carrier is the right thing to do, and if you don't have any planes left, might as well get some secondary hits. But you know, this battle is pretty close, and the enemy team is actually a lead, and that lead disappears once the carrier is gone. So while I appreciate the aggressive play of a carrier in general, I think in this case he probably should have just sat in the corner and hoped that his team could win this. I mean, it's still 6 minutes left, but keeping his ship alive would have probably served him better. But you know, if he's out of planes, he wants to go towards the next battle. I guess I can't blame him too much. Sitting 6 minutes behind an island is probably not very exciting gameplay. And again, it's standard battle. Nobody got any excitement there anyway. Well, then again, I mean, the Cossack had quite a bit of excitement so far. And he wants his Kraken, so he's engaging in an open water gunboat. Now both teams are absolutely equal. This means, well, either a cap has to be contested or a ship has to be sunk to decide a winner here. Now he still has some smoke screens left, it's almost ready again. And I think that Colorado here is providing enough spotting, so he should probably consider smoking up here. Now if he just stops right now while detected and under fire, they are probably going to hit him. So what he'd have to do is drop into concealment, deploy smoke screen and then continue firing. He decides to go for the active evasion tactics. I mean, it can work. But with the little health he has remaining, it's quite a risky approach. Especially if he is actually running into an island, but he deploys his smoke screen. He was no longer spotted, I think, before deploying his smoke screen, and he managed to get safely away. 2 enemies remaining, friendly team has a lead. Still 4.5 minutes left though. The Colorado is probably going to engage some enemies the way he is currently sailing. And well, ViceAdmiralMorgen still wants his Kraken. Now the smoke of the Cossack doesn't last very long, but has a very fast recharge, so he could technically just... Well, I mean, he has to get closer anyway, considering his range. He could just get close and deploy smoke and pew pew again. Or he could, I guess, engage the Edinburgh here. Now he didn't get spotted just now because of the island, but he passed that. And now he is in the open water, and it's probably open season. I'd definitely expect the Edinburgh to go after him here. He is using his hydro because an Edinburgh has torpedoes, and it would be really inconvenient to run into torpedoes right now. Now that hydro doesn't have an awful lot of range, but it's very good at helping you dodge torpedoes. Now Edinburgh, not the best ship to hit targets at range, and while 9 kilometers isn't that much, a destroyer is fast and maneuverable and hard to hit. But ViceAdmiralMorgen is deploying his smoke screen here, there is no reason to take unnecessary risks, and the Edinburgh is coming closer and will eventually be able to score solid hits. And Edinburgh also probably has hydro, which means if the Edinburgh gets close enough, he will be in a whole world of trouble anyway. Now he's got some fire on the Edinburgh, and he decides to move out here. His smoke screen is in the process of disappearing. Takes a hit, but gets his Kraken. And well, at this point there is, I think, no way for the enemy team to turn it back. When your friendlies have a carrier who is pretty safe, and even if they lose the battleship and the destroyer, I think they'll win. I think a carrier was worth more points than a battleship, right? But anyway, I mean, just like sailing through this cap will block enemy points generation, and if they can block 1 or 2 ticks, this is basically secured for the friendlies, even if they would lose those ships. And I mean, why would they lose the Colorado, who is at basically full health? Now, at this point, the safe play would be kind of to just survive, but you know, why not farm a little bit more damage and see if he can take down this Alabama. Even if he thinks here the friendly team shouldn't lose. He also has a smoke ready, which he is deploying. The safer bet would have been to just stop, deploy your smoke first and then shoot, because when you are... well, when you are getting slower, there is a window of opportunity for the enemy team to hit you if they see you. But it all worked out pretty well. And now let's see if he can claim his 6th kill in the Cossack. Smoke's already disappearing again, so you can see it just lasts a very short amount of time. But the Alabama is almost done for. Smoke is gone. But, you know, Alabama is still holding on there. So I assume he will get, yeah, shots in the air, but it's too late.
Enemy battleship sunk.
There is the win. Here we are with the results. ViceAdmiralMorgen earned himself 1,853 base experience, and well, when we look at the experience numbers, you can see in standard battles, people tend to gain less experience because all of those objectives create additional experience that just here. And you know, he had a pretty decent game. ViceAdmiralMorgen earned himself an arsonist and a Kraken, scoring 107,000 points of damage, and well, he lost his torpedoes early on, but he gunboated quite successfully out there. And yeah, I mean, it was a standard battle, but he had plenty of excitement with low health, sailing around, dodging shells, and just shooting enemy ships. So I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you guys next time.